It's News and Talk 1380 WAOK. Good evening. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Mental Space with Sean Garvey. Also on the Odyssey app, make sure you download the Odyssey app so you can listen to us live on the go. We are also simulcasting on the Flow Television Network. You can download the Flow app to your Roku TV. You can check us out on Roku TV, on your Apple TV, and even on your Fire TV and your Android TV. We're also simulcasting on 87 FM, 101 The Vibe FM in Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to the team there. We are syndicated. So make sure you support us. Shout out to my executive producer, Simone, in the studio, hanging out with us. We're going to do a breathing exercise real quick, like we always do at the very beginning of the show. So, all together, for everyone listening to us right now, let's do it all together. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now, I recommend and encourage everyone to do that every single day, not once a week, not once a year, not even once a month, but every day to help you manage your mental health. Every single day, we are on the grind. We are on a hustle. We're picking up the kids from school. We are raising our kids, taking care of our children, taking care of home, going to the job, or even being stuck in traffic, especially in Atlanta traffic. Who wants to deal with Atlanta traffic or whatever else is going on in your life? You always want to make sure that you take a moment to do a breathing exercise. Big ups and shout outs to everyone who tuned in to last week's Odyssey's mental health initiative. I'm listening. Special thanks to Carson Daly and many others for curating and hosting the 2 hour special on all of the Odyssey stations, including this one, News and Talk 1380 WAOK. The Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening, is continuing to spread mental health awareness with help from some big time stars and its annual I'm Listening broadcast special. So if you missed out on the 2 hour special of I'm Listening, you can go back to odyssey.com/. I'm Listening and listen to the 2023 version of I'm Listening. The I'm Listening Mental Health Initiative airs annually on all of its Odyssey stations. So I encourage you to go back and listen to it. Not right now because you are tuned into the mental space. Of course, we're touching on all things considered mental health in our community, just like the I'm Listening initiative that took place last week, especially on stations like this one, News and Talk 1380 WAOK. And we always make it an effort to spread the awareness of mental health, and not only just mental health, but taking accountability for your mental well being. I got a power pack show for you all tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of I'm Listening, I'm glad to have one of my special guests in the studio and who I'm going to speak to in just a few moments. We have life coach Danny Parks in the studio. I'm so happy to have you in the studio to be a part of this roundtable discussion that we're getting ready to embark in just a few moments. And we have some other panelists that will be joining with us. So make sure you are near a phone. 404-726-1380 is the telephone number to call in because on tonight's show, we're continuing the conversation on suicide prevention and awareness. This is the month. September is the month for National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. Young people, even adults, and even our senior citizens are going out here and taking their own lives due to whatever reason is causing them to be in that particular predicament. And we want to just have a healthy and important conversation on the causes and effects of suicide and why there's so many people out here that are taking their own lives and affecting families, affecting co-workers, affecting friends, acquaintances, and just people within their circle. So I know tonight it is the big Republican debate. that our very own colleague, Derek Bozeman, mentioned in his show this evening. But you might want to just put that on record mode and watch it later. I know you all want to hear what the Republican candidates have to say tonight, but this is just as important because with the political season that is already in place right now, Danny Parks and many others, there's going to be a lot of people, Danny Parks, that's going to see you and want to sit down on their couch and sit down on their chair and talk to you during this political season. So many tensions, so many anxiety, and so much stuff is happening and is getting ready to happen in the political season that we are in. All right. So tonight we got our round table and we got a special celebrity guest that we're going to talk to in just a few minutes. Erica Campbell of Mary Mary. She's going to weigh in on the conversation of suicide prevention and awareness. So we got that coming up. We got the round table. We also got Simone's Choice coming up in the second hour of the program. And this is going to be an extended version of the mental space. We usually sign off at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we're going to go a little bit further because we also have another special guest that will weigh in on the conversation later on, Rachel Holloman. We're going to talk to you about her and her duty in the community as well as in the state of Georgia. So stay tuned for that. It is the Mental Space with Sean Garvey right here on News Talk 1380 WAOK.
What's happening, beautiful people? It's your boy Major. This is
I'll go get it.
And we're rocking that Major Hope. I'm dealing Major Hope to the people. You're tapped into the.
Be right back, y'all. Be right back. The Flow Television Network.
1380
Be right back.
WAOK.
and on the Odyssey app, simulcasting on the Flow Television Network and on 87 FM, 101 The Vibe FM in Louisville, Kentucky. What time is it? It is time for you to go see the doctor and get all of your affairs in order. Question for you. What does Nelson Mandela's granddaughter, Irish Grinstead, member of the R&B girl group 702, and actor Billy Miller all have in common? They are all public figures that have died at the age of 43 over the past few days. I'm 39 and I'm coming up on 40 in January of 2024. And when you hear these stories of young people transitioning at a very early age, in their early 40s, at 43, it questions your mortality. It makes you wonder, well, am I going to live to see 50? Am I going to live to see 60? Am I going to live to see all the other things that I could have accomplished? If we don't take the time, ladies and gentlemen, to go and take care of ourselves or to go seek help, then we could live a short period of time. Another person that transitioned at the age of 43, which we all know and love, was Chadwick Boseman in 2020 at 43 years of age. You know, and I always wondered, why are younger people transitioning and dying more than ever before? You know, coming up in the 80s and the 90s, you know, I'm an 80s baby and a 90s kid. It was so unheard of people in their 40s transitioning. But nowadays, it's just like, yo, I'm 43, I'm 42, I'm 41, and you're hearing about all these deaths of people in their early 40s not making it. And it doesn't have anything to do with anything violent related. It's all pertaining to health related issues. So I want to ask you all again, have you taken the time to go see the doctor, to go get a annual checkup, to go get an annual physical, or to go get help and see what's going on in your life? We make time to go on social media. I know you all hear me say that a lot. We make time to go on social media. We make time to go out and party and do all this great stuff. But do we make time for our own health? Do we make time for our own living? And that means going to go see the doctor. So if you have not seen the doctor, make sure you make the time to do that. RIP to another public figure who transitioned, but he transitioned at the age of 46, actor Sean Breedlove, who was one of the actors in the movie 8 Mile, who also transitioned at a young age in his 40s. Your parents should not bury you. You should bury your parents. So just be mindful of that, ladies and gentlemen. Take the time to go see the doctor and to take care of yourself. Right here on the Mental Space with Sean Garvey, News and Talk 1380 WAOK, and also on your Odyssey app. We got the roundtable discussion on suicide prevention and suicide awareness coming up. But right now, I had the opportunity of sitting down with Grammy Award-winning artist Erica Campbell. You know, she was in the ATL yesterday evening celebrating the album release party at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church last night for the new album, I Love You, which is in stores right now. Erica Campbell, you know the name, Grammy Award-winning artist, media personality, singer, songwriter, and, of course, Mary awards, songs, hit songs, you name it, inspirational artist. I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to her about suicide prevention, awareness, mental health therapy, and all that great stuff. Here is my pre-recorded interview with the one and only Erica Campbell right here on the Mental Space.
Back to the Mental Space with Sean Garvey right here on News Talk 1380 WAOK. And
WAOK, I'm sorry about that. What's your name and where you calling from?
What's the number that you call?
Yeah, 404 726. on your Odyssey app and on the Flow Television Network. We're broadcasting live on WAOK 1380. And I forgot to mention, tell Alexa, play News and Talk 1380 WAOK. Sean Garvey in the studio live with my executive producer, Simone, on the board. It is now time for the National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month Roundtable. And we have an amazing panel of guests in the studio to touch on this serious topic that's plaguing not only just the Black community, but also just everyone across the board, across the country. You hear us talk about it from time to time on the mental space. And I want to start with you, our very own life coach in the studio. We had you on the mental space before, Danny Parks in the studio. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you for coming on. You just bright up the room, by the way, too.
Yes. Yellow, yeah.
Yellow. Yes, yeah. So, Danny, what does this month mean to you? We're commemorating National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. What does this month mean to you?
Observing.
We're observing. I mean,
you don't commemorate people dying.
That's Simone, by the way. She doesn't like to talk on the mic. But, I mean, I think it's only right to not only observing, but commemorate also, because we're raising awareness. We're raising awareness, but we're also celebrating those like ourselves here at the mental space for acknowledging this month to raise the awareness of suicide prevention, because that's what we're out here to do. We're out here to save lives and to also give people information on what they can do when they are having suicidal thoughts. So
So I think it's all of that. So it's commemorating those or celebrating those who were in that deep dark place and they decided to go a different route and live. It's empathizing with those who are grieving, the loved ones who decided that, their problems were a little bit too big for life. So we're doing all of that. We're bringing awareness, we're empathizing, we're celebrating. So that's what this month means to me, especially, just bringing awareness to this. You mentioned earlier about the senior citizens. A lot of people don't look at that group as suicidal. So just bringing awareness to all ages, all groups, all cultures. We all experience this.
All races. Absolutely. And we also have another special guest in the studio. I met you at one of our live radio remotes a couple of months ago when we were helping kids and parents get ready to go back to school this season. And I'm glad I bumped into you because you are doing great things in the community yourself. We have Agent Ask in the studio. Oh! Agent Ask. Yes. And you got on the superhero uniform, by the way.
Yes, I do.
I love it. I love
you.
it. And this is you. I know we're coming up on October, and when people think of October, they think of costume day on the 31st. Right. But this is you.
Yes. So I created Agent Ask to raise awareness for social emotional learning. So she goes into different schools, hospitals, boys and girls clubs, recreation centers, wherever there's kids or emerging teenagers. Rather, some of them don't like to be called kids. Agent Ask comes in and she allows them to speak freely, ask questions, get their questions answered, right. And kind of promoting just that transformative dialogue at a younger age.
Okay. I love it. Let's go to our other panelists in the studio. But actually, they are on the phone lines with us, so they couldn't make it in the studio with us, but they're on the phone lines with us, and they are returning guests to the mental space. We have licensed therapist Micah Tanner on the live line, as well as licensed therapist Natalie Bryan on the telephone line. Thank you so much for joining in on the round table. How are you all doing? Thank you for coming back, Natalie. What about you, Michael Tanner? How are you doing? So the question, I'm going to repeat the question I asked Danny just a few moments ago. What does this month mean to you, National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month? Starting with Natalie. What about you, Michael? What does this month mean to you? And once again, I got to give kudos to our company, our parent company, Odyssey, for the I'm Listening initiative. We did the live broadcast. I mentioned at the very beginning of the show that they dedicated 2 hours, the same time slot as the mental space, to just touch on all the things that people are going through, not just only regular people, but also celebrities as well. You know, we just aired the Erica Campbell interview not too long ago, ladies and gentlemen, about just so many people that are being vocal nowadays, from a lower level to a higher level, where now you have public figures, celebrities, just like from the I'm Listening initiative, speaking out about their own mental health journey and just dealing with the everyday issues that they face, and even at times having those type of suicidal thoughts of wanting to end it all, you know. And I think it's very vital for us to have this discussion tonight, because I'm going to be very, very candid tonight, and I want everybody here in the studio and on the phone to be very candid as well. You know, because the rates are high. The rates are very high in our community of people taking their own lives, no matter if you are a young teen or an adult. Everybody is facing something, and they just think that the only way to solve their problem is just to end it all, just to take their lives. 404-726-1380 is the telephone number. We got more questions. We got more discussions on National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. We want you to be a part of the conversation. 404-726-1380. It is the Mental Space with Sean Garvey.
Mr. Garvey, mental space, okay?
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of
Welcome back to The Mental Space with Sean Garvey right here on News and Talk 1380 WAOK and on your Odyssey app. Sean Garvey, roundtable discussion on Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. 404-726-1380 is the telephone number. Joined by my life coach, Danny Parks, as well as Agent Ass, the real superhero, Agent Ass in the studio, as well as our licensed therapist, Natalie Bryan and Micah Tanner on the live line. 404-726-1380 is the telephone number. Something you touched on off air, Danny Parks. We once again, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month roundtable. That feeling of guilt. Yes, let's talk about that. Like when you lose someone, to suicide, right? We as people think that it was my fault. Like I could have done more. I could have been there for that person, and having that feeling of guilt. But something you said that was very important, right? Well, first off, is it a natural instinct or a natural thing for people like ourselves to think that way, to say that? Is it natural? Is it normal to say, I wish I could have been there for that person. I could have spent more time with that person, because then that person would have not did what he did or did what she did. Is it very normal? How normal is it?
I think it's real normal. Whenever we experience any type of traumatic event, somebody has an untimely death, we always say that, whether it's like a car accident, whether it's a suicide, we always have that feeling, that guilty feeling. Maybe I should have, talked to them a little bit longer. Maybe I should have asked if they wanted to stay over versus get in a car and drive. So we always have those feelings of guilt.
Feelings of guilt. Okay, let's say I'm going to go over to Michael Tanner on the phone lines. That feeling of guilt, right? Of being that protector. We can't be everywhere for that person. We can't be with that person all the time, right? But there were times where I felt like, man, I should have done more. I should have did this, So to you, Michael, like, how long does it take for a person to realize that it wasn't their fault after all for that person making that decision? Is there a time limit for that person to come to the realization that it wasn't anything that he or she couldn't do? Is there a particular time limit for that? Now, I spoke about this on a recent episode of The Mental Space this month, since it is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I was very candid about I guess you could say my time of having those thoughts, having those suicidal thoughts, especially during the pandemic, when I felt like I was not needed anymore on this planet Earth. People see me just from the outside looking in. People see me on the radio. People hear me on TV and on the radio. They see me doing great things, especially on social media, right? But after I leave from the studio or after I leave from an event, I go home alone feeling very lonely, feeling like, okay, I think it's time for me to end it all because I have nobody to go home to. And I want to go to you, Agent Ask, about that support system. Because I think at the end of the day, right, having a strong support system is very paramount when someone is having those type of suicidal thoughts. And we'll get to the young teen aspect in just a few moments because I know you work with adolescents and young kids. But how important is it to have a support system when one is having those type of thoughts?
Well, not it is very important. I think it's probably one of the most important things. And then I think it's also important for people to realize that sometimes support doesn't mean speaking. So sometimes we just need someone's energy in the room. But I feel like when we go around people, there always has to be conversation, or we always have to be doing something, or we always have to make content, or there always has to be something going on. But what I've found that just with my circle of friends, or even just with my mom, sometimes just having somebody sit next to you and just feel just the comfort and the warmth from their energy and their spirit, that's a form of support silence sometimes, because sometimes their thoughts or their projections can throw you off of what you were thinking. And it's like, no, if I just have someone just here to just bring me some juice or, like tea, I don't know, but I feel like support can be shown in a lot of different ways. And it's a matter of us knowing how to support someone, because I could be giving you candy because I feel like that's me supporting you. Yeah. And then that could trigger you because I don't know how to support you. You get what I'm saying? It's like your love language. So what is your support language? So I know for me, when I go as Agent Ask to different schools, I don't necessarily get nervous anymore. But if my mom is not there, because I'm so used to my mom coming to every school with me, I get a little nervous. And so I realized that when communicating with her, I have to express to her, Mom, I don't necessarily need you to support me in this way. I need you to support me in this way. And this is what makes me feel comfortable. And this is what just makes me feel like I can do, the job that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. But how do we know, and I'm going to go back over to you, Danny Parrs, how do we know what triggers a person? Because something that you said, Agent Ask, just a few moments ago, you could be doing something good for that person, but then it just triggers them. But how do I know? I can't read your mind, right? I don't know what triggers you. How do we have that conversation?
Well, just being direct, asking them, how can I support you? Just like Agent Ashton says, she, communicates to her mom, this is the best way that you can support me. And I think that support language, like she mentioned as well, is very important, just like our love languages. So I have friends who their love language is physical touch. So if you're feeling sad, I know to give you a hug because that's your love language. That's how you feel supported. That's how you support other people. So I think that's very important as well. Just being direct, asking them, how can I support you? I think that's the best way to support someone.
How can I support you? Okay. 404-726-1380 is the telephone number. We're coming up on the second half of the mental space. But when I come back, I want to go over to our therapist, Natalie Bryant, who's on the live line. And there's a site out there called everydayhealth.com, and it breaks down the 5 reasons suicide is on the rise in the Black community. And at the top of the list is social media. Yes, you heard me say it a few times on the mental space. Social media. Do we put the blame? Do we put all, or if not all, most of the blame on social media for the rise of suicide rates, for suicidal deaths? Wait a minute. I know you was about to answer, Natalie, or even you, Agent. But we're gonna come back and we're going to break that down. Okay, 404-726-1380 is the telephone number. Sean Garvey, we're talking about National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month with our panel of guests right here on the Mental Space, News and Talk 1380 WAOK, and on the flow.
It's your boy Earthquake, and my main man, my only man when I hit the ATL, my main man, Sean Garvey.
1380 WAOK is live and
It's
local.
timed out. I guess someone was trying to call you.
What's happening? This your man,
Oh,
Sean.
somebody tried to call me. But they call the
Always
studio. Interrupting my broadcast.
encouraging you to live well and win well.
And too much truth with Derek
Am I back on?
ATL's own. I didn't come here, I'm from here. The voice of the community.
All right.
We're
All right, the flow.
WFP.
All right, thank you for checking us out on the Flow Television Network. We about to log off, but you can go to WAOK.com and listen to the remainder of the show. WAOK.com on the Odyssey app.
ABC News Radio. I'm Brian Shook.